Hello, and welcome to our latest edition of Get Busy with Bradley Zink. I'm San Diego children's book author Bradley Zink. Thank you all for joining me today. We've got a really fun show today. Today, I'm going to be discussing the three books that I've published the last week since our last podcast, as well as at the end of our show, be offering up the opportunity for a giveaway. So, for all those of you tuning in now and also for the next week, you'll, I think, get an enjoyment out of the free giveaway that we'll be having to celebrate the release of my three latest books. Before I start today's podcast, I'd like to thank today's show sponsor, Ronnie Lee and the Ronnie Lee Group. The music bit that you heard, there they are. The music bit that you heard at the beginning of the podcast was from their latest single, Prisoner. Be sure to check her out on online. They just finished up the East Coast leg of their U.S. tour last week. This weekend they were in Las Vegas. I think they did 2 or 3 shows out in Vegas and Henderson, Nevada area. And this week they're headed up to Washington to do, I believe it's 2 weeks of touring up in Washington at various cities and locations. And then hopefully by the end of the month, here at the end of August, Ronnie, I believe, has a show scheduled right at the end of August here in San Diego or Orange County. I can't remember the two. Be sure to check out her website, ronnieleemusic.com, and you can get more information on where she's touring and where you'll be able to see her live and in person. And she's larger than life, even though she's only like 5'1", she is larger than life on stage. Anyway, thanks again, Ronnie, for being today's show host, and I greatly appreciate everything you do. So, let's start off with all the different updates that have happened since last week's podcast. It's only been a week, but a lot has happened in the past week. Before I get to my books and everything, a little bit of information that some of you may not know is I am a youth soccer coach for San Marcos AYSO, which is American Youth Soccer Organization. I've been a coach for San Marcos ASO for 8 years and had the, wonderful opportunity to coach 11 teams now in the last 8 years. For the last 3 years, I've been doing double duty coaching both my son's team that he's on, as well as a U6 or U8 team with my son, little Alex, being my assistant coach, which is amazing experience to be able to not only spend time with my child. The older they get, the less time they want to spend with their boring parents. But it's really fun to work in a role model role with him, coaching smaller kids, half his age, in the sport of soccer. Make them excited about soccer. It also gives my son that opportunity to experience working with children. Trust me, for all those parents out there, you didn't know exactly what I'm talking about with this grin, that it is a lot of work. Being the father of one child, a 13-year-old, is more work than I could ever imagine. It's the most rewarding experience in life, but it can definitely be challenging. And I noticed that over the years, as he gets older and older, and now into those teenage years, things can get tougher and tougher between the two of us, especially since we're the same size now and wear each other's clothes. But with him working with the younger children, it teaches him, how to, take things in stride. Sometimes these little 5 and 6 year olds can be a little overwhelming, especially to a child. And he's done a remarkable job for 3 years as an assistant coach. We've had a great group of kids every year, and tonight, after this podcast, as a matter of fact, I'm headed over to the San Marcos Civic Center for our coaches orientation to pick up the uniforms for the 2 teams I'll be coaching. My son and I will be co-coaching a under 8 boys team, and then last year my son was on an under 14 boys team that was by far the most incredible group of kids I've ever had the pleasure to coach. Not only did we take first place in San Marcos, we took second in San Diego County Regional Tournament. We placed third in the All-Star Tournament. The entire team was selected to be the All-Star team to represent San Marcos last year, which is very rare occurrence that an entire team is selected. It was truly a a special group of boys that I amazingly, out of the 12 on the team, I've previously coached 9 of them. Some of them 3 or 4 years in a row. So it's great to continually see these kids grow and develop. And I just found out last night when I was reminded by the head of ASO for San Marcos that tonight's the orientation. They told me that 8 of the 12 kids are returning for the U14 team, and they don't have a coach. And they asked if I would be interested in being the head coach this year for our boys. And yeah, without a doubt, I jumped on that opportunity quickly because, yeah, like I said, the older they get, the less opportunities we're going to get to spend with them. And these are some of their formidable years that I really, really would hate to miss out on. It is a lot of work, especially with the U14s. Last year, I was the second shortest kid on the team as coach. The difference is in a year, I'm sure every one of them has grown, and Coach Brad has not. So I'm probably going to be the shortest one on the team. So I got to work a little bit harder. And the fact that I'm also 4 times everybody's age on the team, it makes for some interesting down days, if you know what I mean, after our practices and workouts that we do, because we have, the older they get, the more grueling the workout routine and practices are. We usually do 1.5 to 2 hour practices, and at their age, they bounce back and are ready to go the next morning. And Coach Brad takes a little bit more time these days to be able to get moving, and everything starts to hurt, but there's nothing that compares to being able to have the opportunity to coach these boys. So I'm jumping in it, and can't wait and look forward. The season starts, I believe it's September 11th will be our first game. I'm getting the rosters and their uniforms tonight, and we'll be starting practices for both my U8s and U14s next week. So be spreading myself a little bit thin between the writing the books and doing the podcast, working with the PTO at my son's middle school this year, and doing 2 head coaching jobs, but at the same time trying to work. So it's gonna be an interesting journey this year, and I'll keep you all updated throughout the weeks, through this podcast as well. But without further ado, let's now get to the books, because that's what this show's about. Since our last podcast last Tuesday, I had mentioned that I had already submitted my America's Sports Car, the History of the Corvette book for publication. There's a few little wrinkles in getting it approved, but a couple days after the podcast, had to just tweak a little bit of verbiage in the cover, and redesign the cover slightly, and so now it went live. On top of that, I've also published my book on how to self-publish for free online, a step-by-step guide. And then because of all the submissions for my History of the Corvette book, I had over 200 different photos to thumb through of hundreds of different gorgeous Corvettes. Only selecting 70 for the first book. So to pay homage to all the people that had contributed to make that book possible, I did a companion book that features every photo from all of the people around the world. I had 6 different countries, 29 different states that submitted for these books projects. So let's take a look at them. So Joe, if you could throw up the History of the Corvette image for me, please, sir, and thank you. I'll take a quick drink real quick. Hopefully our aging producer hasn't run out to the bathroom again. There we go. Oh, there's our. Oh, he's actually come on.
So as I was uploading the pictures, go ahead and take yourself a little beverage right there. As I was uploading the photos, that one did not upload. Did you say Corvette History book?
Yeah, something like that. I think that's how I saved it. It's all good. I'll just show a picture like this.
Well, it did that one other time.
There we go. That's it. You nailed it.
So, bye.
Thanks, Joe. I have the most amazing producer. You see, not only does he do all the work behind the scenes, but he'll even occasionally, I'm sure, pop up and, yeah. It's good to see that you guys notice that I'm not talking to somebody in my head, that there is actually somebody out there helping with this show. Yeah. as we had him on the show as a guest. That's Radio Joe. Love you. Thank you for helping. All right. So, like I said, the first book, this is the history of the Corvette book. This was one of the most challenging and rewarding books that I had the pleasure of writing. Um, it covers all 70 years of the Corvette from 1953 all the way to 2023, including the unicorn of all, the 1983 Corvette. That is the one year that Chevrolet did not release to the public a model year for Corvette, was 1983. They only produced 43 for testing and R&D purposes, and at the end of all of that, they totaled out 42 of them, only kept one, which is on display for the last like 20 years now. They're at the National Corvette Museum in Bowling Green, Kentucky. But anyway, a brief description of this book. Since its public debut as a concept car at the 1953 GM Motorama to the arrival of the 2023 Z06, the Chevy Corvette has become an American icon. From the young to the young at heart, just the mere sight of a Corvette elicits an excited feeling. This book features each year of the Corvette, from one of the first off of the line to the latest Stingray, and several special editions in between. With 70 years and counting, the Corvette has become the American sports car loved worldwide. For all of you vet lovers and admirers, this book's for you. You can go ahead and kill the picture there, Joe. Just a quick brief. This book turned out to be 101 pages. It's got 70 photos covering, like I said, the 1953 Corvette. I believe it was like the 10th one that rolled off the line or something. Something like that. All the way to I had a submission for the 2023 Stingray Corvette, so that's in there. All 70 years, including the unicorn, the 1983 Corvette, which is a gorgeous model. Looks exactly like the 1984, because it was the 1984. They just pushed it off a year, which you'll learn in the book when you buy it. Also, remember 100% of my royalties for this book and all of my books that are offered online, 100% royalties are donated to San Diego County Schools. Anyway, this book was really a lot of fun to publish, to put together. It was really challenging to try. Some of these years, especially like the 70s and the 90s, I had so many submissions for each of the years. To try to narrow it down to one to represent each year was difficult. Hopefully everybody that got their cars selected are happy that their cars were the ones to make the cut. Hopefully the ones that didn't make in this book will be pleased at the companion book that I produced. Like I mentioned, I had hundreds of submissions, hundreds of photos. It was heartbreaking to leave some of these out because, there was a couple of 1965s in there that were just gorgeous. And, I literally had to ask my son, which one would you want if you had to choose? And, I was using him as my guinea pig to choose which ones, because I just could not select between some of these. So I did, Joe, if you could do up the Love Is Corvette book photo for me. I did an homage to everybody that submitted. Love Is My Corvette, Corvettes from around the world. Like I said, I had 6 different countries, 29 states submit photos. I had Denmark, Finland, Australia, England. In fact, the European kickboxing champion in England there submitted his 1986 Corvette for the book. A quick, brief description of what this book's about. Of all the cars today, there's no other community that can compare to that of the iconic Corvette. Corvette owners, it truly is an incredible community to be a part of, by the way. I reached out to my fellow Corvette owners for contributions to my book, America's Sports Car, A Brief History of Our Corvette, and received hundreds of submissions from around the world. To pay homage to Corvette owners and admirers everywhere, I created this companion book, Love Is My Corvette. This book features pictures of every generation of Corvette from 1953 to 2023, with over 100 examples from, I believe there's actually 191. There was some issues with some of the quality of the photos. You can go ahead and kill the photo there, Joe. There was some issue with some of the quality, like low pixelation rates on some of the photos that were submitted to me. So there was, a few dozen that I had to omit, unfortunately, because it just wouldn't reach the minimum pixel count for being able to publish a clear picture in the book. So I believe I have 100 and, oh my goodness, something like 160 or 170 different examples of Corvettes that were submitted to me from around the world. Let's see, to the world, this pictorial book to the legendary Corvette is not only a journey through time, but a view of the love for this American icon. It's amazing, especially when I have the PDF of these books, and when you put it on like a really fast, clicking to next page, it's almost like it comes out like a flip book, and it's amazing to see the Corvette morph from the 1953 to the modern 2023 mid-engine that you see on the roads today. It is absolutely phenomenal how much it's changed and how similar it stayed the same in other aspects. But one thing that hasn't changed about the Corvette is the love of the car that the owners have. They're a tight community. Every time I'm driving around with my son, who loves going for a ride in Daddy's Corvette, if he sees another Corvette, he starts shouting, "Papa, Papa, another vet! Flip the lights!" And we'll turn the lights on and give each other a wave. And it's an incredible community to be a part of. There's no other car community I can think of that compares to the Corvette community. And that's why I made this book as an homage to everybody that submitted their photos. So that way, I could have the pleasure of putting their book, their photo of their Corvette that they love so much in a book. And as I had stated to everybody in previous show, and as well as when I announced that I was creating these books and needed submissions, is that every one of the people that had submitted to both the History of the Corvette and the Love Is My Corvette books are getting a free ebook that I'm emailing to them. Bear with me, it's going to take me about 3 or 4 days to be able to attach and send out that many emails to you all. But by the end of the week, everybody's that's submitted is going to be getting their free ebook in their inbox. So over the next few days, be sure to check it out. I hope you enjoy the books as much as I do, and as much as I did producing them for you all. So then the third book that I published in the past week runs along the lines of what I've been discussing in the last several weeks of this new formatted podcast, Get Busy with Bradley Zink, which is teaching you how you too can publish for free online. And so I went through the entire website of KDP Online that I use and publish with, did screen grabs of every single step-by-step of what you need to be able to get your book published online. Not only does it have the screenshots, but several paragraphs to explain, not only in great detail, but in very simple instructions of what needs to be filled in every single space to ensure that you can get your book uploaded and published and live and available for sale as soon as possible. To give you a quick description, let me just bring it up real quick, of this book. Have you ever wanted to publish a book but not sure how? Have you searched how to publish a book only to get frustrated with the cost or technical aspects of book publishing? Well, here's your solution. Once upon a time, how to publish for free online. The step-by-step guide shows you how to publish your book, from creating an account to searching your name on Amazon, which is a lot of fun, by the way. You can go ahead and kill the photo there, Joe. This book will get you published. From an author of over 50 books, 54 as of today, surprisingly. I've streamlined the process to make it very simple to understand and get published in no time. This book, it's a short read. It's only 44 pages. Like I said, it covers every single step-by-step from every single line that needs to be filled out online on their website, on the KDP Online website, describing how to download the templates for creating the book, how to format your book, how to upload the manuscript, create the cover. Once you click that publish button, the fun part is waiting. The fun part and the hard part is waiting the up to 72 hours for your book to go live online. Typically, they only take about 24 to 48 hours, but they do for their terms and conditions say that it could be up to 72 hours for it to be available and viewable online for purchase. It is a hard wait to do. Even though I'm 54 books into it, I'm still guilty of dozens of times a day refreshing my screen, seeing if it's gone live yet. They do email you, by the way, to notify you that it's live and online, but sometimes I'm just impatient, as human nature is. And it's really exciting to see, that latest book pop up on there on the Amazon page. If you just go to Amazon.com, you can simply just search Bradley Zink. It'll bring up, I think I have just over 36 books now available on Amazon or Barnes & Noble, or 29,000 other online retailers worldwide. That's why I love using KDP Online. Not only is it a free service, it's a easy to use service, as you will discover, when you get this book and check it out. It's very simple, very streamlined. They have 24/7 support. They're wonderful about responding to your email inquiries if you have any questions. Yes, American hero. Thanks, Joe. At least my producer loves me. Anyway, we had a little issue earlier, so he reassured me that he loves me. Everybody loves you, Joe. That's why you're getting so many hits, and that's why you're Radio Joe. Anyhow, 1 second, please. So, like I was saying, KDP Online, it has a wonderful service. It only takes about 5 minutes to create your account, which is also covered slightly in the book. It's a really easy process. If you've ever, written a book but haven't published, if you've published before and, didn't like how it turned out or how expensive it was, if you've ever thought about publishing, check out KDP Online. No, I don't get any royalty or any additional kickbacks from Amazon or KDP Online. It is my preferred choice. There's dozens of them out there. Be careful. A lot of them are set up to financially benefit the company as opposed to the author of the book. So be careful and do your research before you finally decide on a company to use to publish with. There are several free ones out there that, as you discover, with the little add-ons that they have, if you want like the exposure, if you want yours to come up in searches, there's additional fees that are hidden or just blatantly put on there. And then you start adding it up and your free publishing turns out to be several hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. KDP doesn't do that. They make it very easy. It truly is free. They do offer additional services if you're interested, and they're also very economical. I've never personally used any of their marketing tools. You can, pay a small fee. Some of them are as little as like $5 or $10 for marketing tools that will blast out notifications to different publishing companies, different news media outlets in your area about your book publication. They do offer really good paid services on KDP, but I found with a little bit of foresight and a lot of hard work, you can market your book yourself. Because you're never really alone. You have your friends, your family, you have support networks around you. You'll be amazed at how many people are willing to help you, especially when you've published a book. People want to just shout from the mountaintops, because it is quite an amazing process to go through and to actually achieve, to be able to publish a book. It's a great honor that I've been fortunate enough to be able to not only have a lot of supporters, but also have a lot of people that have contributed, like all the musicians, all of my artist friends, all of the photographers, all of the different nonprofit organizations that I've written books for, the schools that I've written books for specifically. You're not at it alone, even though this part of the journey in publishing, you feel like you're on your own. That's why you use KDP Online. I know the service inside and out quite well. Never hesitate to email me if you're using their service and have a question. I always respond to emails and love helping people get their book published and, start living their dream of being a published author. So that's pretty much the show today as far as the books go. But I did mention, throughout the week and at the beginning of the show that there is going to be a giveaway today. A lot of giveaways, yeah, you have to do stuff for, like sign up for this, some of that. I'm going to simplify it for you. I like to give out my books. One of my greatest pleasures in life is to give out my books for free. Not because, I don't want to make money. I want to share the knowledge that I've obtained, the knowledge that I've encapsulated in my books. And I also like to share, things that I've created with others. That's why I'm not going to charge people for this giveaway. I'm not going to make you sign up for anything for this giveaway. Yes, you can comment, but it's going to be even simpler than that. The only thing that I do want from everybody is to watch these podcasts, especially, Radio Joe's 3 podcasts that he's currently producing. Kurt Bavacqua's podcast, Rob McNellis's podcast, and myself. This could also be a format, maybe for Radio Joe, maybe take a little hint that this could be also a way to get others to do their podcast giveaways. It may simplify things slightly, but this is my giveaway to you. As I discussed throughout the show, I've published in the last week 3 books. A Brief History of the Corvette, which features 70 examples of the Corvette from 1953 to 2023. I published the companion book, The Love is My Corvette, which features over 160 Corvette images from around the world of every generation and every year. So published the How to Publish for Free online book. So all you have to do is send me an email. Joe, if you could just throw out my email there, authorbradleyzink@gmail.com. Between now and the start of next week's podcast, simply reach out to me. Email me at authorbradleyzink@gmail.com. There it is right there. Telling me for the subject, just put a free book. And all you have to do is type one simple line. And that's the name of the title of the book that you would like emailed to you for free. I have ebook copies of every single one of my books that I've produced, but I'm going to only have this giveaway for the 3 specific books that I've just published in the last week. So that's the History of the Corvette, The Love is My Corvette, or How to Publish for Free online. So between now and the start of next week's episode, if you email me at authorbradleyzink@gmail.com and specify which of those 3 books you would like, the next day you will have a copy of it in your inbox. This is not only a way to get free way of marketing my book. After everyone starts to take a look at it, feel free to also share it and email it to others. That's why I'm doing this. It spreads the word of my books. It's a great way to market things. It costs nobody anything but the time to just forward and send that book to somebody else. I do not care if you keep it for yourself or if you share it with 10,000 people. That's why I'm doing this. I want you all to share my books as much as possible. So between now and next Tuesday at 3:15, email me, tell me what title of the book, of the 3 books I just published this week, you would like, and the next day you will have a copy of that ebook in your inbox. I thank each and every one of you for tuning in every week and also watching my shows later on after they've been published. I do check and see that, yes, I continually, even after the live feed is done, people are continually going back and watching my shows. I greatly appreciate it. That's why instead of just making this giveaway just a little tiny moment, Jen Hardy, free book on how to publish. Okay. All you have to do is just send me an email. So that way I already have an email address and you will get how to publish a book for free sent to you. In fact, yes. Sorry, I'm trying to read little side messages to my wife's texting me at the same time. Maybe she's listening too. Who knows? But anyway, email authorbradleyzink@gmail.com. let me know which of the 3 books you would like a free copy of, and I will email it to you. I thank each and every one of you for tuning in. Like I was saying, not only for the live feed, but um, throughout the week, going back and watching my shows. Um, this is my way of thanking each and every one of you every week for tuning in and watching my shows. And like I said, a great way to market my books, just give them away. I've been doing it for 8 years now. I've given away, printed book wise, I've probably given away over 5,000 books. I've just ordered a couple boxes of my new books, so in the next couple weeks I will have physical printed versions available, and perhaps the end of this month we might have a real special giveaway where I'll be offering up. You'll have to do a little bit more than just sending me an email, but I'll figure out something that we can do for a free giveaway that you can actually get a signed, printed copy of one of those 3 books that we discussed today. Again, thank you all for tuning in. Thanks again to my wonderful sponsors of this episode, the Ronnie Lee Group. Y'all are wonderful. Thanks to my great producer, Radio Joe. Also, be sure to, that's right, email San Diego Radio Joe at gmail.com if you would also like to try to do, take a shot at doing podcasts. He makes it even simpler than KDP makes it to publish your books online. Joe makes this easy. Yeah, he does everything. The guy's amazing.
Hold on a second. Are you saying I'm better than Amazon?
In podcast, yes.
You just had to. You didn't have to.
Hey, like I said, he's probably gonna. I like this concept here, Joe, of popping in and out. I love that. It keeps people entertained. I think we have a good rapport, bro. Anyway, thanks again, everyone, for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you next week on Get Busy with Bradley Zink. Again, you want those free books, just email me. And until then, I'll see you next week on Get Busy with Bradley Zink. Take care.